Hey guys, it's your boy, Ballface8020, back again with another great commentary. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the debate, read about it, watched parts of it. That was brutal, as black pillars would say. Biden he's old and he has dementia. He had dementia when he ran 4 years ago, and it's gotten worse. Like I said before, I don't really think it matters who a person is, what they did, what you think about them. I can't imagine any situation where it's not sad to see somebody in that state. Like, again, I don't care if it's literally the worst person to ever exist. You don't want to see somebody like that. Because, like, any of us could end up like that, if you live long enough. And, it is unfortunate. I don't think, Trump was already ahead in the polls anyway. If the election were held today, he'd have won. I don't think this is going to have too much of an impact on the poll, like on the race per se. I don't think that, it's not going to change. People vote for who they vote for. Everybody knows. The thing is, everybody already knew Biden was completely senile. So it doesn't make a difference. He's not really running things, so it doesn't matter. There's going to be criticism from people on the right, for the left, for Democrats, for Joe Biden's family, for putting him through this. And that was my initial reaction too, gut instinctive. But then I started to think that, to them, Trump is an existential threat. And he is, because we're going to, when Trump gets back in power, we're going to take revenge on them. And, so they need, and so they don't really have, if Biden's the only way they can do it, then you'd hope they at least feel guilty about it. But, which I don't know if they do, but I understand why they do it, because if I was in their position, I'd do the same thing. If we were in a situation where, the only way we could do is, keep, Trump's, the corpse of Trump, our only way to stop the Democrats was to run the corpse of Trump or something. Yeah, I would do that. So, it's a contact sport. It's war. It's like if war is diplomacy by other means, politics is war by other means. It really is. It's instead of shooting each other, we vote. When that doesn't work, we end up shooting each other anyway. So yeah, anyway, going to the like I said, the astrological chart I did clearly show a Trump victory. I thought, when you put everything together, when you looked at both of the charts, it showed a Trump victory, but it also showed that Biden would have some good moments. And, it just goes to show that, how, like I was saying in that video last night, it's when you're doing those head-to-head stuff, those horror charts, that's very hard to do, because you can interpret it in so many different ways. And I think the chart was right about the basic that Trump would win. You could even read the chart as a way to imply a strong Trump victory, because his ascendant was so strong. He just had that afflicted MC, which can, and that's kind of like a broader thing, what that can mean. That can potentially be a good thing sometimes too. So you can interpret these as anyways, but I thought the charts overwhelmingly, if you looked at them together, said that Trump would win, but they said that Biden would do well. Again, there's a way you can look at it, which makes sense to say oh, okay, well, obviously this, Saturnian star on the IC, which is Trump's MC in the horary chart, that actually is having a malefic effect on Biden's MC. So yeah, you can do that after the fact to say, because I guess that's what happened, right? But there's no, but if you're just looking at the charts straight up, no, those charts are, I'm not saying they're useless, but they're very hard to interpret. And like I said, it got it right that Trump won the debate, which was not what was expected. But the charts did say that Biden would hold his own, and he did not. He did not at all. It's weird because I'm so used, like, I've been expecting Biden to just malfunction or keel over forever, for as long as he's been, back in this political game against Trump, you know, and he's always looked okay. Everybody's like thought he was on his last legs, and then, he did okay in the debates for last time, and don't get me wrong, he was clearly senile, but he did okay. He did serviceable, and as State of the Unions, he was serviceable. So I figured, like, well, okay, all they have to do is continue it for a few more months, and I guess tonight, the luck ran out, or Cinderella turned back into a pumpkin, or I don't know how you want to put it. Yes, but anyway, let's. I want to talk more about what this means going forward, and getting back to the astrology. If you saw my Biden-Trump first astrology video about the election, if you go back and watch it, I was very clear in it. I said that he's got to combust 8th house, okay? This means that he either dies this year, he dies before November 20th, he loses the election, or he gets replaced before the election. I mean, that would be it does not necessarily have to mean that, okay? It could mean loss of a family member or something, but the most likely interpretation of that would be one of those three things. I think right now the money has to be on that Biden's going to be replaced. The most likely candidate being Pritzker, the governor of Illinois. So, I know that the convention's next month, right? So I would imagine that Biden could go there, just announce, he said, I'm, stepping aside to, for my good friend, something Pritzker or whatever, because they need to have some way to finesse Kamala out. Does that really affect the election? I don't think so. I mean, I think that I think Pritzker at this stage would do better than Biden, because Biden's got two things. One is the dementia, the obvious dementia. Two is that sorry if I said two things. He's got three things. One is that he may not make it to the election. He may die or become incapacitated, in which case then you're stuck with Kamala. So that's the first thing. The other thing is that he's a bit of a drag just because he's the incumbent. He's an unpopular incumbent. So, like, that's going to be a negative against the Democrats in this cycle no matter what. But there are more popular Democrats. Joe Biden in 2020 was the most popular Democrat there was. And Joe Biden now, you could do a lot better with other people. Like, again, Pritzker, he doesn't have the name recognition, but he would be more popular than Biden at least. And you wouldn't have the incumbent stench on him. So yeah, the first thing is that Biden might die. The second thing is that Biden is okay, well, I can't remember everything else, but I think that there's no debate at this point that they're going to have to replace him. I mean, no, maybe they surprise me and stick with it, but I'm assuming Biden's going to get replaced, get shuffled out. And which, I would consider that an accurate prediction. But anyway, would that change my prediction for the race? No. I would still say, first of all, you look at the chart. Second of all, the fundamentals, look at the charts, plural. I'd have to, assuming they put in Pritzker, I'd have to look at his chart. But, his solar return chart, at least. I don't really care about his natal chart. And then, the campaigns charts. But, so where were we with? But no, because the fundamentals are still the fundamentals. The thing is, whoever they replace Biden with, people are going to know, well, that's the Democrat candidate. They know what the Democrats are about. Mass immigration, support of foreigners over Americans. I don't think the war stuff really matters, because I think most Americans are okay with continuing to support Ukraine. They probably don't want to hear about it, and they might bristle about it. But I don't think support for Ukraine is like really alienating any Americans. I think what's bothering Americans really is the cost of living, and cost of living and immigration, and those are related issues. And then just sickness. some stuff with crime, but I'd say less crime because the crime only really affects the people who live in the cities. But the crime is part of it, but really just disgust with wokeness. Like, this, like, it's been building up since 2008, and it's only, the backlash is only getting worse. And I've noticed like the cultural change in the last few years. I think COVID really, after we renormalized from COVID, we saw sort of a cultural renormalization against woke. Like woke like was big, and then woke went into overdrive when Trump got elected, and then Biden getting elected was when you started really seeing the backlash manifest. The social mood has changed. And the Democrats are associated with that. The Democrats are associated with woke. The Democrats are associated with the inflation, which I think is bullshit. I don't blame Biden or the Democrats for it. But the Democrats are associated with caring more about immigrants than they do about Americans, which is just a fact. So, and I mean, if they were just running against the standard Republicans, they might be able to still win because of like the standard Republicans suck. I know the polls say that even a generic Republican could win by even more, but I don't believe that. I mean, I'm sure that's what the polls say right now, but after the campaign, the enthusiasm would be just non-existent. But also another thing that you have to keep in mind is that for all of Trump's flaws, and he has a lot of them, and even if you hate Trump and think he's the worst person ever, Trump is a leader. Trump is a real leader. Again, even if you think he sucks, and even if you think his leadership is bad, and it would be better to not have a leader than to have Trump, I could understand all those opinions, but he still is a leader. And people want to be led. And the Democrats and really the Republicans, other than Trump, don't have any leaders right now. I mean, it's Trump really, there's a vacuum, and the only one who can fill it is Trump. Now, that can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your perspective, but it is what it is. That's all for now. See you in the next.